All right, I got one more for you guys. With the roster tool editor, I'm going to show you how to get the names to show up. Now, as many people have noticed, that if you just simply load up the roster editor, open up a roster, that these names, there's no names here. But you see in my videos and the other tutorials that there are names there, and I'm certain that probably pisses you guys off. Over here in the options, we have the ability to load up a name file and choose a name by a certain value. By default, this says names.txt, and by default, this says just ID. That means it's looking for a names.txt file, and it's going to go by this ID right here. The problem is that this ID is dynamic. It changes. So the much better solution is to use a Cyberface ID, which does not change. It doesn't even change from game to game to game. The players that were in 2K9 have the same ID then, the Cyberface ID, that they do now. So how do you get the names to show up in here? Well, first, go to the NLSC forums. On page 14 of the roster editor, go ahead and press F3, go to names, or type in names, and you'll find this post by Nadevix. This is originally by Duke W74, I believe is his username. Go ahead, click this, and download it, CF names. Open it up, CF names text file. And as you can see, this has the Cyberface IDs along with a name, which this is even for Cyberface, if you just want to know whose Cyberface is what, it's just great to have this text file. How to install it is pretty simple. Go ahead and go into your documents folder. Look for the NBA 2K13 roster editor folder. Right here is where we need to put this text file, so go ahead and just put it right here. So now this text file is in your My Documents NBA 2K13 roster editor folder. Again, this is not the folder where the tool is actually installed, which is right here for me. To get this to show up, go back to the roster editor. You want to put the text file's name right here. So cfnames.txt, cfnames.txt. I want to choose the name by Cyberface ID, right? Because that's what this has, Cyberface ID. Now, if I really wanted to, I could have the name go by team ID or number. I mean, it matters because that would just completely screw everything up. But you're allowed to use different values if you so really want to, for whatever reason. So that's it. So the names will show up if I believe if I press save. There they are. And these are all the actual names. Now again, it is very important to note that these names are not editable in this editor. That's why they don't show up. So you cannot edit the names. You have to use the very complicated bank of names hex editing tutorial I posted earlier in the year. Or you need to wait it out for the Redditor, which should be coming hopefully in another month. So I hope that was a pretty simple way to show you guys how to install the names and why it's set up the way it is. So I hope that helped. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one.